All right, a very big welcome to you, my viewers and subscribers from all over the world. This is yet another episode of your favorite political talk show, The Truth, with Ben Jokes. Now, the governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, has scored another one on Wike as the appeal court nullifies the judgment stopping allocations to Rivers State. Recall that weeks ago, Wike undercover sponsored some crooks who got that judgment, and federal government allocations to Rivers State was stopped. But that judgment, which would have started the biggest wave of crisis in Rivers State, has now been nullified. You can't deny an oil-producing state oil money. It doesn't work. The Independent National Electoral Commission have come out to deny rumors of the death of Professor Mahmood Yakubu in a London hospital. Days ago, it was rumored that Mahmood Yakubu had died in a London hospital, but INEC has now come out to debunk that rumor, and many Nigerians had only unkind words to say to the erring professor. What a life to live as a human being, where rumors of your departure attracts unprintable remarks. And few hours ago, fresh chaos between the Arewa/Shettima camp of the APC and the Southwest/Tinubu camp began when the Arewa/Shettima camp openly dragged Tinubu and his performance in office in the mud. And hours before that, a prominent Yoruba figure had dragged Shettima and the entire northern Nigeria terribly in the mud, and that began an altercation between the Southwest supporters of APC and the northern supporters of the party. Before I show you details of these top stories and how Nigerians reacted, let me quickly show you these updates. The first one here is a video that showed the Senate divided over Wike's actions in the FCT, but it ultimately revealed a certain senator, Senator Karimi, as perhaps the most unreasonable human ever. Imagine this senator asking that Wike be allowed to go on with demolition of a property while investigation is still ongoing. And his colleagues, out of shock, had to ask that what then happens when we find out that Wike was actually in the wrong, but the property has been brought down. See the video.
Thank you, Mr. President, my colleagues. My name is Karimi Sunday Steve. I represent the people of Kogi West. If you look at this motion, Mr. President, sir, a specific land allocation was mentioned belonging to one Paul Obebo. We don't know any detail about this thing. And we are just coming because of this to tell the minister, stop. There is need to investigate this matter before giving any directive. We must hear from the minister. So we have to hear before we say stop demolition. So let's hear from the minister first. You can't shave a man's head at his back. You can't shave his head at his back. We need to hear from the minister.
Yes, son.
Thank you, Mr. President. With respect, I disagree with Senator Karimi. I think we need to be fair to everybody. There is before us an allegation that says certain steps are to be taken, which will culminate in demolition. Are we saying that we should allow the place to be demolished while we are trying to look into it? My own view is simple. We should tell him to stop, and as Senator Natasha has said, start the investigation so that there is a level playing ground. Are we now going to investigate, and if we find that the minister has done something wrong, but he has then demolished? I don't think that is fair. I think what is fair is to say, stop the situation today and let us investigate. With respect, I think that is what is fair.
You saw that. Senator Karimi there positing that Wike should be allowed to continue with demolition as investigation is ongoing. I don't think I've heard any opinion more stupid than that this year. And tell you what, all this point to the fact that Wike is actually grabbing these lands and sharing to his friends. Don't be surprised that Senator Karimi is one of the beneficiaries of Wike's land grabbing. And of course, Akpabio would definitely be one of them too. But it is only for a while. All the lands that El Rufai grabbed as FCT minister were taken away from him by the next minister, Bala Muhammad. Then Muhammad Bello succeeded Bala Muhammad as FCT minister and took away all the lands that Bala Muhammad too took. Now Wike is attempting to grab. Even if he succeeds, the next person after him will take all those lands from him. That is just the simple truth. Now, let's take this next video by the senator of the FCT, Senator Ireti Kingibe, moving that motion against Wike's illegal demolitions. See the video.
So I apologize to my colleagues for working out. Now, added to that, with my colleagues, I expect fairness in the Senate for everybody. Concessions are given to other people. I expect them to be given to me also when it is needed. I apologize if you did not like how I lost my temper, but I was expecting this to happen today.
Proceed to move your motion.
Apology, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues, my name is Senator Ireti Kingibe, representing the Federal Capital Territory. Note that the Federal Capital Administration, on the instruction of Honorable Minister of Federal Capital Territory, embarked on massive demolition of structures within the Federal Capital Territory. Also note that the demolition, according to the FCT authority, was informed by illegal structures and non-development of allocated plots of land by the FCT administration. Concerned that in recent time, the demolition exercise in the FCT is no longer based on reasons adduced by the FCT administration that necessitated the demolition. Further concerned that the current demolition in the FCT is not in line with due process of court orders to demolish. As such, a cross-section of individuals had suffered untold hardships occasioned by massive demolition, which has led to a loss of properties worth billions of naira. Also concerned that at the moment, an estate by name Messrs. Paulosa, for which late Colonel Paul Osankwanwa Ogbebo is the chairman, is currently under revocation and demolition. And from reliable information, the said plot of land was allocated to him in 1984 with requisite title document. And further concerned that the owner of this estate was a patriotic Nigerian who served the nation meritoriously and one of the first intakes of the Nigerian Defense Academy, Kaduna, with registration number 001. Senate resolves accordingly to urge the FCT administration to halt the ongoing revocation and demolition of the said property, as it does not fall within the purview of the reasons for the massive demolition being carried by the FCDA. Also, all demolitions should follow due process. Second prayer. I so submit.
Thank you, but I have one off your mic. I have one problem with your motion. That number 001. Are you very sure? Because I know that Wellington Bassey's estate. Wellington Bassey. Okay. The first 001 was for the Nigerian Army. Then this 001 is for the Defense Academy. Okay. Any seconder?
You saw that. The major reason I brought this video here is to show you the properties that Wike is targeting to demolish and take over. Properties belonging to 001s in the Nigerian military. That is how ridiculous the Nigerian army has become in the hands of civilians. When the reputation of the Nigerian army was intact, you would not dare try to steal a land belonging to the first ever man to register and graduate from the NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy. Service number 001. Wike wants to steal his land. The soldiers in power now, if they let this happen, they should know that all that they are leaving behind for their children now will be taken over by someone else in years to come. Point blank, period. Now, let us look at the top stories. First is that heavy outburst by Kemi Badenoch on Shettima and northern Nigeria, this update has thrown Arewa and southwest APC supporters into bitter confrontations. And next is that update where the Arewa/Shettima camp dragged Tinubu and his performance in the mud. Let's start by taking that update from Kemi Badenoch. Look at how the papers reported it. I am Yoruba. I have nothing in common with Boko Haram heaven of northern Nigeria, Kemi Badenoch. The leader of the UK's Conservative Party, Kemi Badenoch, says she is Yoruba and identifies less as a Nigerian because she has nothing in common with people in northern Nigeria, which is a heaven for Islamism and Boko Haram. I find it interesting that everybody defines me as being Nigerian. I identify less with the country than with the specific ethnicity Yoruba, the politician told British outlet The Spectator in an interview. I have nothing in common with the people from the north of the country, the Boko Haram, where Islamism is, she added. Ms. Badenoch has been at the receiving end of constant backlash from many Nigerians, including public figures, in recent months due to her often criticism of the West African country for its rampant corruption and volatile security climate when discussing Nigeria in the British media. Many deemed most of Ms. Badenoch's comments about Nigeria as unflattering. Kashim Shettima, who is from the Boko Haram heartland of Borno, has criticized Ms. Badenoch for her comments. Meanwhile, Ms. Badenoch has once again doubled down on the criticism, stating that being Yoruba is her true identity and refuses to be lumped up with the northern people of Nigeria who were our ethnic enemies, all in the name of being called a Nigerian. Ms. Badenoch added, "Somebody once told me when I was very young that my surname was a name for people who were warriors. They protected the crown, and that's what I see myself as doing." The British politician added, "I am here to protect, and I will die protecting this country because I know what's out there." Wow, Shettima has beaten more than he can chew this time. I am so proud of Kemi Badenoch. Shettima thinks he knows how to tongue lash people. He was the same person that said Oshibanjo is only fit to be an ice cream seller and not a president during the primaries. Then he went ahead to say they have retired Atiku, that they will buy him goats, let him be rearing goats in the village. And it was the same man who denigrated his own classmates after mentioning his name on national TV. Now he has finally been put in his place by Kemi, and this time around he's being disgraced on a global stage. The Boko Haram tag is one that he can never wash away, but it was the fact that Kemi Badenoch involved the entire northern Nigeria that sparked the altercation between Yoruba APC supporters and Arewa APC supporters. They've been going at one another on X since this update from Kemi began circulating, and the rest of us are just in one corner observing how they've been insulting one another. And as the back and forth between Arewa supporters of APC and Southwest supporters of APC was going on, Arewa/Shettima camp came out to attack Tinubu and his performance in office. Look at how the papers reported it. Northern region is angry, regrets voting for Tinubu, ready to go against him in 2027. Arewa Forum, Sahara reporters. The Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, a northern Nigeria socio-cultural group, has stated that the northern people regret voting for Bola Tinubu in 2023. The president of the Arewa Youth Consultative Forum, Alhaji Shettima Yerima, added that the northern people are willing to work against Tinubu's re-election in 2027 if he does not change the current situation of the country. He addressed the broader dissatisfaction in the north, reflecting on the high expectations from the Tinubu-led government, emphasizing the need to address insecurity and economic hardship to win back the trust of the northern populace. Yerima added that there are massive regrets from northern people who voted for Tinubu in 2023 despite the failures of his party man, Muhammadu Buhari. He continued, "In some quarters, there are certain regrets by the northern region. Don't forget the 8 years of Buhari's administration brought nothing to the north. So the expectation was so high that Tinubu knew where the problem lay, and someone like me who had worked with him and taken him as a role model, I believe that he knew so much about the problems of this country and would approach the issues not as a military man but as a democrat, and will be able to provide solutions to them. But the people are disappointed because they are not getting what they expected of him. The North is angry with the government, but the government still has an opportunity in less than 2 years to turn things around. So some of us are not in a hurry to conclude that Tinubu might not be of any good to the North. We know the journey is rough. Let us give him some benefits of the doubt and encourage him. You heard that. Now, this update dropped from the Arewa/Shettima camp during the heat of the exchange between the Yorubas and Arewas over the counter-attack on Shettima and northern Nigeria by Kemi Badenoch. The northerners once again stylishly threatening Tinubu with 2027 elections. This is what happens when you are not the will of the people. And to be honest, he wouldn't have been able to rig himself in without the backing of northern Nigeria. But responding to this update by Arewa Consultative Forum, some Yoruba supporters of the APC, who are of course in the Tinubu camp, said what northern Nigeria did for Tinubu in 2023 was not a favor. They said they should stop talking as if they actually did him a favor. They said he actually paid them hundreds of billions to carry out all that they carried out, from what happened at the polling units to the collation centers, down to the INEC chairman's table and to the judiciary. No be small talk today for EXO. They said you guys were paid heavy sums of monies. So why are you talking as if you did a favor? They said the North should stop speaking as if they voted Tinubu. They never voted him. They just sold the seats to him. Yorubas backing Tinubu began to threaten the North with tax reforms, that they will stop all the free allocations they are giving them. And they also began talking about regional government, that maybe we should just divide everything. And all these just points to one fact, that we are not a united people. Little misunderstandings threaten the unity of the country because the unity does not exist. And that is what Kemi Badenoch was pointing out. She said she identifies as Yoruba because she won't be forced and lumped up with the North in the name of Nigeria, meaning Nigeria does not realistically exist. And to be honest, does it? Can you say it does? For me, it doesn't. Once there is a little disagreement between two people on the streets, the next thing, ethnic slurs start flying around. Now, the same Arewa Forum that had no issues with Buhari, doing 8 years, are now threatening Tinubu. It's not as if Tinubu even deserves 4 years. He doesn't even deserve to be there. But will the same thing be said of a northerner who does not deserve to be there? All these are the problems of this country. But people like Shettima want all these obvious failures of this contraption called Nigeria to be swept under the carpet because they are beneficiaries of the failed system. That's obnoxious. I remain an advocate for a united Nigeria that is ready to work, and an advocate for division. What do I mean? What I mean is, what we have right now is not a working nation. This particular Nigeria needs to accept its obvious failures and begin to reconstruct. If that will not be done, and if we will continue living in lies and denial, then it is best we divide it. And what do we have? It's less than 10 days to Christmas and inflation remains on the rise. Meanwhile, most of the prices going up now will hardly drop by January. This is only a glimpse of what will happen next year. The United Nations Food Program has already predicted that over 33 million more Nigerians will face hunger that will threaten their lives and may end them for real if nothing is done. They said the kind of hunger they will face is the one that can take their lives if nothing is done. They made that declaration like 4 months ago. Nothing has happened. We are not seeing any massive agricultural revolution. In fact, there is a video I might bring here tomorrow. In that video, they were in a forum and the farmers listed all the promises that Tinubu made as regards, mechanized farming in Nigeria over a year ago. And they said up till now, not even one of those promises has been fulfilled. But I am not surprised. They never meant them, they were just joking. This is the APC. They have come to steal, to kill, and to destroy. And that is why I keep telling Nigerians that for us to have a nation at all in the near future, we must come together, put our sentiments aside, and get the APC out of power. But until then, make I still enter town. Make I go get some ogbonge political news wey una go like. Why? Because of una. Now I dey here, so don't go away. Don't go away.